about your sermon last Sunday. It's really wonderful, Dr. Harper. In only 2 short years, you have taken on the spirits of Brooklyn.
That's very gratifying, Miss Brewster.
You see, living next to the church all our lives, we've seen so many ministers come and go. The spirit of Brooklyn, you always said, is friendliness. And your sermons are not so much sermons as they are for the talks.
Personally, I've always enjoyed my talks with Cardinal Gibbons. Or have I met him yet?
No, dear, not yet. Are the biscuits good?
Boy.
Won't you have another biscuit, Dr. Harper?
Oh, no, thank you. I'm afraid I'll have no appetite for dinner now.
But you haven't tried the keys. We always put a little apple in with it to take some of the tartness out.
No, I always have too many when I come over just to try a taste of your delicious raspberry jam.
We'll send you over a jar.
No, I want to ensure that I have it every time I come over.
I do hope that they don't make us use that imitation flour again. I mean, with all this war trouble. It may not be very charitable of me, but I've come to the conclusion that this Mr. Hitler may not be a Christian.
Europe, sir?
Yes, Teddy?
But you've gone the other way. To the west. There's your danger. There's your enemy, Japan.
Why, yes, of course.
Teddy!
No, Aunt Abby, let's talk about war and more about the canal.
Well, let's not talk about war. Won't you have another cup of tea, dear?
No, thank you, Aunt Abby.
Dr. Harper?
No, thank you. But I must admit that the talk of war does seem far separated from these surroundings, doesn't it?
It is peaceful here, isn't it?
Yes, peaceful, like the virtues of another day, the virtues that were touched with candlelight in good Texas.
It's one of the oldest houses in Brooklyn. It's the same as it was when Grandfather Brewster built and furnished it, except for the electricity. And we used as little as possible. It was Mortimer who persuaded us to put it in.
Yes, I could see that your nephew Mortimer refused to live by electric light.
The poor boy has to work so late. I understand he's taking Elaine with him to the theater again tonight. Teddy, your brother Mortimer will be here a little later.
Delighted.
We're so happy it's Elaine that Mortimer takes the theater with him.
Well, it certainly is a new experience to have my daughter be brought home at 3 in the morning.
Oh no, Dr. Harper. I hope you don't disapprove of Mortimer.
Well...
We'd feel so guilty if you did. Sister Martha and I mean, since it's here in our home that your daughter met Mortimer.
It's fine, Miss Abby, but I must admit that I have been watching the growing intimacy between my daughter and Mortimer with some trepidation for some time now. For one reason, Miss Abby.
You mean his stomach, Dr. Harper?
Stomach?
His dyspepsia. He's bothered with it so. Poor boy.
No, I'll be frank. I'm talking about your nephew's unfortunate connection to theater.
The theater? Oh no, Dr. Harper. Mortimer writes for a New York newspaper.
I know, but you must admit that a dramatic critic, after being exposed to the theater for so long, must gain some interest in it.
Well, not Mortimer. You don't need to worry about that. Why? Mortimer hates the theater.
Really?
Oh yes, he writes awful things. And you can't blame the poor boy. He was so happy writing about real estate. But then they made him take this terrible night position.
My.
But, as he says, the theater can't last much longer anyway. And for the meantime, it's a living. Yes, if we give the theater another year or two, perhaps... Oh, who do you suppose that could be? No, Teddy, I'll go. Oh, hello, Mrs. Brophy.
Hello, Miss Brewster.
Hello, Miss Klein.
Hello, Miss Brewster.
Gentlemen, what news have you brought me?
Colonel, we have nothing to report.
Splendid. Thank you, gentlemen. Happy.
You know Dr. Harper.
Sure. Hello, Dr. Harper. We've come for the toys for the Christmas fund.
Oh, yes.
That's fine work you gentlemen do, fixing up old discarded toys to bring unfortunate children a happier Christmas.
It gives us something to do when we sit around the station. We get tired playing play cards and when you start cleaning your gut, next thing you know, you shot yourself in the foot.
Teddy, go upstairs and get that big box from your Aunt Martha's room. So, how is Mr. Roby? Mr. Roby has been quite ill, Dr. Harper.
Pneumonia.
I'm sorry to hear that.
He's fine. A little weak still, but
Oh, I will get you some beef broth to take to him.
don't bother, man. You've done so much for him already.
It's no trouble at all. Sister Martha and I made it this morning for poor Mr. Vinitsky. I won't be a minute. Sit down, all of you.
You shouldn't go through all that trouble. Listen, try to stop her or her sister from doing something nice and for nothing. They don't even care how you vote.
Yes. When I moved to Brooklyn, my wife wasn't doing so well. And during that time, and for years after, well, if I knew what pure kindness and generosity are, it's because I've known the Brewster sisters.
Colonel, you promised not to do that anymore.
But I have to call a camp meeting to get the release of those supplies.
You used to do that in the middle of the night. The neighbors raised a cane with us. They're a little afraid of him anyway.
Oh, he's quite harmless, really.
Suppose he does think he's Teddy Roosevelt. There's a lot worse people than think he was. Damn shame a nice family like this hatching a cuckoo. Well, I heard his father, Gilbert's brother, I heard he was a genius. And his father, Teddy's grandfather, seems to be he was a little crazy as well. Yeah, crazy like a fox. He made $1 million though.
Really? Here in Brooklyn?
Yeah, pet medicine. Tried him out on people. Used the house as some sort of clinic. Old Sergeant Edwards remembers him. I hear he used to make mistakes occasionally too. Yeah, the department never really bothered him that much. He was helpful in autopsies, especially poison ones. Well, whatever he did, he left his daughters fixed for life. Thank God for that. Not that he spent any of it on themselves.
Yes, I'm well acquainted with the charities.
You don't know a tenth of it. When I was working with the Missing Persons Bureau, we were searching for an old man we never did find. Did you know a renting agency has this house on its list for furnished rooms? They don't rent rooms, but you can bet that anybody coming here looking for a room gets a good meal and probably a few dollars a night. Just their way of digging up people to do some good too.
Well, now isn't this nice?
Hello, Miss Brewster.
How do you do, Mrs. Roby, Dr. Harper, Miss Klein?
How are you, Miss Brewster? We dropped to get Christmas toys.
Oh yes, Teddy's Army and Navy. They wear out. They're all packed.
Teddy's upstairs getting them now. Seems the cabinet had to okay it.
Of course. I hope Mr. Roby's better.
He's doing fine. Your sister's getting broth for him in the kitchen.
Oh yes, we made it this morning. I just took some to a poor man who broke ever so many bones.
Oh, you're back, Martha. So, how is Mr. Vinitsky?
Well, dear, it's pretty serious, I'm afraid. The doctor was there. He's going to amputate in the morning.
Can we be present?
No, I asked him, but he says it's against the rules of the hospital.
You couldn't be at any coat, and surely you must spare yourself something.
Oh, here's the broth, Mrs. Brokey. Be sure it's good and hot.
Yes, ma'am. This will do fine. This will make a lot of kids happy. That O'Malley boy is nuts about soldiers.
That's General Miles. I've retired him. What's this? The organ.
Teddy, dear, put it back.
But the organ goes to Australia.
Now, Teddy.
No, Aunt Abby, I've given my word to Fighting Bob Evans.
But Teddy,
What does it matter what kid gets it? Bobby Evans, is he colored? We'll be on our way, ma'am, and thank you very much.
Not at all. Well, goodbye.
Goodbye.
I must be on my way as well.
Before you go, Dr. Harper.
It's a blockhouse.
the stairs are always San Juan Hill.
Have you ever tried convincing him that he wasn't Theodore Roosevelt?
Oh, no.
He's so happy being Teddy Roosevelt.
Once, a long time ago. Remember, Martha? We thought if you'd be George Washington, it'd be a change for him.
But he stayed under his bed for days and just wouldn't be anybody.
And we'd rather him being Mr. Roosevelt than nobody.
Well, if he's happy and more importantly, you're happy, you see that he signs these.
What are they?
Dr. Harper has arranged for Teddy to go to Happydale Sanitarium after we pass on.
But why should Teddy sign any papers now?
Well, if the Lord should take you away sooner rather than later, it may be difficult to get Teddy to sign them afterwards, and that would result in a whole sort of legal trouble that personally I'd really not get mixed up in. Mr. Witherspoon knows they're to be followed right away until they're needed.
Mr. Witherspoon? Who's he?
He's the superintendent of Happydale.
Dr. Harper has arranged for Mr. Witherspoon to meet Teddy either tomorrow or next day.
I really must get going now. Otherwise, Elaine will be looking up and down all over me.
Dr. Harper, please give our love to Elaine. And please don't think harshly of Mortimer because he's a dramatic critic. Somebody has to do those things.
Could you just have tea? Isn't it rather late?
Yes, and dinner's gonna be late too.
So, why?
Oh, Teddy, good news for you. You're going to Panama and dig another lock for the canal.
That's bully! Just bully! I spared once for the journey!
Abby, while I was out,
Oh, yes, dear. I couldn't wait for you, and Dr. Harper was coming.
but all by yourself.
Oh, I got along just fine.
Well, I'll run right downstairs and see.
Not downstairs, Martha. See, I was alone, and there was enough time. And,
Well,
Martha, just look in the window seat. Oh, it's Elaine. Come in, dear. Good afternoon, Miss Abby. Good afternoon, Miss Martha. I thought Father was here.
he just this minute left. Didn't you meet him?
No, I took the shortcut to the cemetery. Mortimer hasn't come yet? No, dear, not yet. He asked me to meet him here. Do you mind if I wait?
Not at all.
Do sit down.
But we really must speak to Mortimer about doing this to you.
Doing what?
Well, he was brought up to know better. When a gentleman is taking a young lady out, you call her at her house.
Oh, there's something about calling for a girl at a parsonage that discourages any man who does embroidery. He's done this too often. We're going to speak to him. Oh, please don't. After young men whose idea of nightlife is taking a fair meeting, it's wonderful to go to theater almost every night of my life.
It's comforting for us, too, because if Mortimer has to see some of those plays he has to see, at least he's sitting next to a minister's daughter.
Oh, my goodness, Elaine. What must you think of us? Not having tea cleared at a time like this?
Now, don't bother with anything in the kitchen until Mortimer comes, and then I'll help you. Mortimer should be here any minute now.
Yes. Father must have been surprised on finding home. I'd better run over and say goodnight to him.
It's a shame you missed him here.
If Mortimer comes, you tell him I'll be right back. Oh, hello, Mort.
Hello, Elaine. Hello, Martha.
Abby, Mortimer's here.
Were you going somewhere?
Oh, I was just going over to tell Father not to get up.
I didn't know it was still being done, even in Brooklyn.
Hello, Mortimer.
Hello, Aunt Abby.
How are you, dear?
All right. And you look well. You didn't change much since yesterday.
Oh, it was yesterday, wasn't it? Well, we're seeing a great deal of you. Well, do come sit down, sit down.
Abby, happen to be something to do in the kitchen.
Huh?
You know, the tea things.
Oh, yes, the tea things. Well, you two just make yourselves at home. Just
Make yourselves at home.
well, can't you take a hint?
No, that was pretty obvious. A lack of inventiveness, I should say.
Yes, that's exactly what you'd say.
Where are you going to go for dinner?
I don't care. I'm not very hungry.
Well, I just had breakfast. Suppose we wait till after the show?
But that'll make it pretty late, won't it?
No, not with little sneaker we're seeing tonight. From what I've heard about it, we'll get Blake's by 10 o'clock.
Why do we bear these plays?
Are these plays fair to me?
I've never seen you walk on a musical.
That musical is open tonight.
No?
Darling, you'll have to learn the rules. With the musical, there was 3 changes of title and 4 postponements. They liked it in New Haven, but it needs a lot of work.
Oh, I was hoping it was a musical.
You have such light mind.
That's it. Musicals somehow have a humanizing effect on me. After a serious play, we join the proletariat in the subway to listen to a lecture on a drama. After a musical, we bring them home in a taxi.
Now, wait a minute, darling. That's a very inaccurate piece of reporting.
Oh, I will admit that after the Behrman play, you told me I had authentic beauty and that's a hell of a thing to say to a girl. It wasn't until after our first musical you told me I had nice legs, and I have too.
Well, I've never been able to rationalize it.
What?
My falling in love with a girl who lives in Brooklyn.
Falling in love? You're not super articulate, are you?
The only way I can regain my self-respect is to keep you in New York.
Did you say keep?
No. I've come to the conclusion that you're holding out for the gallery.
I can afford to be a good girl. Quite a few years yet.
And I can't wait that long. Where could we marry in a hurry? Say tonight?
I'm afraid Father would insist on officiating.
Oh, God. I'll bet your father could make your marriage services sound pedestrian.
Are you by nature's right to reveal it?
Forgive me, darling. It's an occupational disease. I'm making that play tonight. You know this.
Now, darling, don't pretend you love me that much.
I'll telephone when she'll call you back.
Nevertheless,
Alright. Everything's formal and legal, but not later the next one.
darling, I'll talk over to Father and set the date.
No, we'll have to see if they're rehearsal. There will be a lot of other first nights in October.
Hello, Mortimer.
How are you, Mr. President?
Bully, thank you. What news have you brought me?
Just this, Mr. President. The country is squarely behind you.
Yes, I know. Isn't it wonderful? Well, goodbye. Goodbye.
Where are you off to, Teddy?
Panama!
Hannibal the cellar. He digs logs for a canal down there.
You're so sweet with him, and he's very fond of you.
Well, Teddy was like my favorite brother.
Favorite? Were there more of you?
There's another brother, Jonathan.
I've never heard of him. Your aunts never mentioned him.
No, we don't talk about him. He left Brooklyn very early, by request. He's the kind of boy who liked to cut worms in two with his teeth.
What became of him?
I don't know. He wanted to become a surgeon like grandfather, but he wouldn't go to medical school first. This practice got him into trouble.
Well, aren't you two going to be late for the theater?
We're skipping dinner. We would have to start for half an hour.
Oh, well, I'll just leave you two then. Don't bother now. I'm going to run over to speak to Father. Poor Wild lets to pay over for them. I'll cut to the cemetery.
If the prayer isn't too long, I have time to lead you to the side distilled waters.
Oh my goodness, Mortimer! That is the first time I ever heard you quote the Bible! We knew Elaine would be a good influence on you.
Oh, by the way, I'm gonna marry her.
What? Oh, Mortimer! Martha, come in here right now! I got the most wonderful news! Mortimer and Elaine are gonna be married!
Married? Oh, Mortimer.
We had hoped it happened just like this!
Well, Elaine must be the happiest girl in the world.
Happiest? Just look at her leaping up those gravestones. Say, what's that?
What's what, dear?
That bird. On that statue. That's a red crescent swallow.
Oh, no, dear. That's MOD Stout. Ascending to heaven.
No. On the stout's left ear. That bird. It's a vanishing species. Thoreau was very fond of it. By the way, I left an envelope here last week. It's on one of my chapters on my book, Thoreau. Have you seen it?
Well, if you left it here, it must be here somewhere.
Well, when are you going to be married? Well, what are your plans with Elaine? Oh, there must be something more you can tell us about Elaine!
Elaine thought was brilliant.
What was, dear?
My chapter on Throne.
Well, when Elaine comes back, I think we ought to have a little celebration. We must drink to your happiness. Say, Martha, do you have some of that Lady Baltimore cake though?
Oh, yes.
And I'll open a bottle of wine.
Oh, and to think it happened in this room.
Well, with your fiancé sitting beside you tonight, I do hope it'd be something you enjoy for once. Maybe it'll be romantic. What's the name of it, dear?
Murder allowed.
Oh, dear.
When the curtain goes up, the first thing you'll see will be a dead body. Aunt Abby,
Yes, dear.
you're making plans for Teddy to go to that sanitarium?
Oh, yes, it's all arranged. Dr. Harper was here earlier and dropped some of the papers off for Teddy to sign. Oh, here they are.
He's got to go right away.
Oh, that's what Dr. Harper thinks, so there wouldn't be any legal difficulties after we pass on.
He's down in the cellar. Get him up here right away.
There's no such hurry as that.
No, when Teddy starts work on Panama, you can't get his mind on anything else.
Right away, I tell you. Right away.
Why, Mortimer, why, as long as we live, we'll never be separated from Teddy.
I've got some shocking news for you. Now, we've all got to try to keep our heads. You know, we sort of humored Teddy because we thought he was harmless.
Why, he is harmless.
He was harmless. That's why he has to go to Happy Hill, why he has to be confined.
Mortimer, why have you suddenly turned against Teddy, your own brother?
Aunt Abby, you might as well know sometime. It might as well be now. Teddy's killed a man.
Nonsense, dear.
There was a body in the window seat.
Yes, dear, we know.
You know?
Of course, dear. But that has nothing to do with Teddy.
But who is he?
His name is Hoskins, Adam Hoskins. That's all I really know about him. Except that he's a Methodist.
What's he doing there?
He died.
Aunt Martha, may I just go into window seats and die?
No, he died first.
Well, how?
Mortimer, don't be so inquisitive. The gentleman died because he drank some wine with poison in it.
How did the poison get in the wine?
Well, we put it in wine because it's less noticeable. When it's in tea, it has a distinctive odor.
You put it in the wine?
Yes, and I put Mr. Hoskins in the window seat because Dr. Harper was coming.
So you knew what you'd done? And you didn't want Dr. Harper to see the body?
Well, not at tea. That would be very nice. Now, Mortimer, now you know the whole thing. Now just forget about it. I do think Martin and I have the right to our own little secrets.
And don't you tell Elaine. Oh, Abby, while I was out, I dropped in on Mrs. Schultz. She's much better, but she would like us to take Junior to the movies again.
Well, we either have to do that tomorrow or next day.
Yes, but this time we'll go where we want to go. Junior's not going to drag me into another one of those scary pictures.
Say desk. Hello, Al. Do you know who this is? That's right. Say Al. When I left the office, did I say where I was going? Uh-huh. Well, where? Uh-huh. Well, it would take about 30 minutes to get through. What time have you got? Yeah, that's right. I must be here. Aunt Abby, Aunt Martha, come in here. What are we going to do? What are we going to do?
What are we going to do about what, dear?
There's a body in there!
Yes, Mr. Hoskins.
mean you're going to bury Mr. Hodgkins in the cellar?
Of course, dear. That's what we did with the others.
No, you can't bury Mr. Others?
The other gentleman.
When you say others, do you mean others? As in more than one? Others?
Of course, dear. Let me see. This is 11.
No, dear. This would make it 12.
Oh, I think you're wrong, Abby. This is only 11.
No, because when Mr. Hoskins came in here, it occurred to me that this would make an even dozen.
Well, you really should have the first one.
Oh, but I was counting the first one. So that makes it 12.
Hello? Hello? Ow. My, it's good to hear your voice.
Well, they're all down in the cellar.
No, Al. I'm so regular. I was just calling you because I was feeling a little pyramid. You wouldn't know. Anyways, Al, you've got to get hold of George. He's got to cover that plate tonight. No, Al, you're wrong. Al, I can't cover the plate tonight. That's all there is to it. You get a hold of George. All right. Now, where were we? 12!
Oh, yes. Abby thinks we got to count the first one, and that makes 12.
All right, now. Who is the first one?
Oh, Mr. Midgley. He was a Baptist.
Of course, I still think we can't claim full credit for him because he just died.
What Martha means is, without our help. You see, Mr. Midgley came here looking for a room,
It was right after you moved to New York.
and it didn't seem right for such a lovely room to go to waste when so many people needed it.
He was such a lonely old man.
All his kith and kin were dead, which left him so forlorn and unhappy.
You felt so sorry for him.
And then, when his heart attack came and he sat dead in that chair, it was so peaceful. Remember, Martha? We knew right there and then if we could help any lonely old man to that same peace, we would.
He dropped dead in that chair. How awful for you.
Oh no, dear. Why, it was rather like old times. You see, your grandfather always used to have a cadaver to run the house. And Teddy had been digging in Panama, and he thought Mr. Midgley was a yellow fever victim.
Which meant he had to be buried immediately.
So, we all took him down to Panama and put him in the locker. Now, that's why I told you not to worry about it, because we know exactly what's to be done.
And that's how all this started? That man walking in here and dropping dead?
Well, we couldn't depend on that happening again, so...
You remember those jars of poison that were up on the shelves in Grandfather's laboratory all these years?
And you know your Aunt Martha's knack for mixing things. You've eaten up of her piccalilli.
Well, dear, for 1 gallon of elderberry wine, I take 1 teaspoonful of arsenic, add half teaspoonful of strychnine, and just a pinch of cyanide.
You're having quite a kick.
Oh, yes. One of our gentlemen found enough time to say, how delicious.
Well, I better get things started in the kitchen.
I wish we'd stay for dinner.
I'm trying out a new recipe.
I couldn't even think.
I won't be a minute, Martha. I'll be in to help you. Oh, you have to leave Berlin, don't you? How happy you must be. Well, I'll leave you alone with your thoughts.
Oh, it's you.
Don't be cross, John. Father can see that I was excited suddenly and heart couldn't go away. But listen, Doug, it's not going to wait up for me tonight.
Lane, you run along home. and I'll call you up tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
You know I'll call you every day or two.
But we're going to the theater tonight.
No, we're not.
Well, why not?
Elaine, something's come up.
But, what? Have you lost your job?
No, I haven't lost my job. I'm just not covering that play tonight.
But I've got to know what's happened. You certainly can tell me.
No, dear, I can't.
But if we're going to be married,
Married?
have you forgotten that 15 minutes ago you proposed to me?
Oh, yeah. Well, as far as I know, that's still on. Now, you roll along home.
Listen, you can't propose to me one minute and then throw me out of the house the next.
I'm not throwing you out of my house, girlie. You get out of here.
No, I won't get out of here. Not until I've had some kind of conversation.
Please! Hello? Oh, hello, Al. Hold on a minute, will you? All right, it's important. Hold on a minute. Look, Elaine, you're a sweet girl and I love you. But I've got something on my mind now. I want you to go home and wait until I call you.
Don't try to be masterful.
When we're married and I have a problem to face, I hope you less tedious and uninspired.
And when we're married, if we're married, I have to find you out of it.
Elaine? Elaine! Hello? Hello? Al? Hello? Al, hello?
That's the doorbell, dear, not the telephone. Oh, hello. How can we help you?
I understand you got a room to rent.
Oh, yes, do step inside.
Say, are you that lady of the house?
Yes, I'm Miss Brewster, and my sister's another Miss Brewster.
My name is Gibbs.
Well, do come sit down. I'm sorry, we were just setting the table for dinner.
Hello. Let me talk to Al again. Al! See, desk. Wait, what? Wrong number, sorry!
Why don't you sit down a minute and let's get acquainted?
Won't do any good if I don't like the room.
Is Brooklyn your home?
I don't have a home. Live in a hotel. I don't like it.
Hello? See, desk.
Are your family Brooklyn people?
I don't have a family.
All alone in the world?
Yeah.
Well, Martha. Well, you come to just the right house. Do sit down.
Hello, Al. Mort, you got cut off. Al, I can't help but play tonight. That's all there is to it. I can't.
What church do you go to? There's an Episcopal church practically next door.
I'm a Presbyterian. Well, I used to be.
What's George doing in Bermuda? Searching, I told him he could go to Bermuda. It's my apartment, isn't it? Well, Al, you gotta get hold of somebody. Who else is there at the office?
Is there always this much noise?
Oh, he doesn't live with us.
There must be somebody at the office. Look out. How about the office boy? The bright ones? You know, the one we don't like? Well, Al, you get hold of somebody. I'll hold on.
I'd really like to see the room now.
It's upstairs, but first you should try a glass of our wine before we start up.
Never touch it.
Oh, we make this ourselves. It's elderberry wine.
Elderberry wine? Why, I haven't had elderberry wine since I was a boy. Thank you.
Well, there should be some furniture at the office. Look out. How about the fellow who sets my coffee? He know what I write. His name is Joe. But Al, he might turns out to be another Burns Mantle.
Say, do you grow your own elderberry bushes?
No, but the cemetery is full of them.
No, I'm not drinking. I must start now.
Do you serve meals?
We might, but first try a glass of our wine before we start up. Oh,
Mortimer,
Mortimer! Not that.
Ah!
What's wrong with you, boy?
Poison! Do you mean murdered?
Oh,
Go! Get out of here! You made murder, want me killed? Get out of here! Go! Bam!
You spoiled everything!
You can't do things like that. It's not only against the law, it's wrong. People wouldn't understand. He wouldn't understand.
Abby, we should have told Mortimer.
What I'm trying to say is, well, this has developed into a very bad habit.
Mortimer, we don't stop you from you doing things that you like to do. I don't see why you have to interfere with us.
Hello? Alright. I'll see the first act and I'll pat the hell out of it. But Al, you've got to do something for me. Get a hold of O'Brien. Our lawyer, the head of our legal department, have him be in the theater, okay? Alright, I'm starting now. Look, I've got to go to the theater. I can't get out of it. But before I go, will you promise me something?
You'd have to know what it was first.
Look, I love you, and I know you love me. But would you do this tiny thing for me?
And what's that?
Don't do anything. I mean, don't let anyone in this house and leave Mr. Hoskins right where he is.
Why?
I want time to think, and I've got quite a little bit to think about.
Well, I don't see what happened to us while you're out.
You'll deliver me, won't you?
Well, we were planning on holding services before dinner.
Services?
Of course. You don't think we buried Mr. Hoskins without a full Methodist service, do you? Why, he was a Methodist.
But can't they wait until after the show?
Oh, then you can join us!
Yeah, okay.
Oh, Mortimer, you'll enjoy it, especially the hymns. Remember how beautifully Mortimer sang in the choir? The boy's voice changed.
And you'll deliver me, won't you?
Well, Martha, I guess we can agree that Mortimer's cooperating with us. All right, Mortimer.
All right, we'll go to the theater. Have you got any papers?
Oh, yes, will this do?
Yeah, that'll be fine. I can save time if I write my review on the way to the theater.
Mortimer didn't seem quite himself today.
It's only natural. I think I know why.
Why?
Well, he did just become to be engaged and married. I suppose that would make any man nervous.
Well, I'm so happy for Elaine. And their honeymoon ought to be more of a real vacation. I don't think he got much rest this summer.
Well, at least he didn't go kiting off to China or Spain.
I can never understand why I wanted to go to those places.
Well, I suppose to Mortimer, the theater always includes small potatoes. Mortimer needs something big to criticize, like the human race.
Oh, if Mortimer's coming back for the services for Mr. Hoskins, we need another hymnal. There's one in my room.
Martha, it's really my turn to read the services, but since you weren't here when Mr. Hoskins came, I suppose you can do it.
Oh, that's very nice of you, dear, but are you sure you want me to?
It's only fair.
Well, I'll wear my black boxy and mother's old brooch.
Oh, I'll get it.
We promised Mortimer we wouldn't let anyone in.
Well, who do you suppose it is?
It's two men, and I've never seen them before.
Are you sure?
There's a car on the curb. They must have come back.
Let me look.
Do you recognize them?
They're strangers to me.
Well, we'll just have to pretend we're not at home.
Come in, Doctor. This is the home of my youth. The little boy has wait to escape from this place. I'm glad to escape back into it.
Yeah, Johnny. It's a fine hideout.
The family must still live here. There's just something so unmistakably Brewster about the Brewsters. I hope there's a fatted calf waiting for the return of the prodigal.
Yeah, I'm hungry. Look, Johnny, goodies!
That's what you were expecting.